When I moved to Indianapolis 21 years ago, I graduated from IU and had just started medical school, and I needed a church home. Growing up, my family moved quite a bit, but one of the first things we did when we moved to a new city was to find a church. And I felt like when I moved here, I needed to do the same. So during my first visit, I filled out one of those blue and white friendship cards that Reverend Coppage talked about this morning. And when I returned home from the library that evening, I found a nice gift basket and a few crumbs left from the loaf of bread that had been delivered. You see, my roommates were not in school and had spent the afternoon watching football and had snacked on the basket. But all kidding aside, that was a time of tremendous intellectual and personal growth for me, and this church was the anchor that kept my faith alive. I was being challenged every day with scientific information that I was trying to make sense of in the context of my Christian beliefs, and each Sunday I would come to Second and was reassured of God's love, that He was at work in my life and of those around me. I soon joined the church and made my very first pledge of $100 a year, which wasn't much, but at the time was what I could afford. About 5 years later, I finally convinced Jackie to marry me, and we decided to get married here at Second. Jackie grew up Catholic, and we were fortunate enough to have a Jesuit priest, as well as Dr. Enright, preside over our wedding. During the homily, Dr. Enright gave us 3 suggestions to help build a strong marriage. Number 1, take time for one another, even if you have to schedule it out like you would a patient visit. Number 2, see the world through each other's eyes. And finally, give each other grace. 16 years and 3 boys later, we still rely on that sage advice. All 3 of our sons have been baptized here and have participated in the youth program. And initially it seemed that the only thing they brought home from church were sticky fingers, clothes covered with powdered sugar, and jelly from coffee hour. But as the years have gone on, it has been a joy to talk with them about the lessons they have learned in Sunday school and to hear their interpretations of the Bible stories that are so familiar to us. At times I just feel like a referee in church. But one of my greatest joys as a father has been to see the flickering light of faith in each one of my children. Several years ago, I took my oldest son, Jack, to an informational session about Habitat for Humanity. I could see the compassion and excitement growing in him as he learned about the opportunity to help provide affordable housing to those in need. Unfortunately, he wasn't old enough to participate on a build site, but he still wanted to help if possible. He proceeded to build a bookshelf and helped gather books from his friends to fill it for the children of that family. And just a few weeks ago, Parker participated in a service as a liturgist. In the past, he has been very nervous about public speaking, but as I watched and listened as he read his part, I saw a confidence that can only be explained by a strong faith and sense of purpose. When we asked him about his experience after the service, he informed us that church was much better from up here than in the pew. And just last week, Harrison was homesick from school for a few days, and while he was lying on the couch with his head next to a bucket, he asked if someone could please go get his new Bible from his room, because when he started feeling better, he wanted to be able to read it. And as many of you know, I've been battling cancer for the last several months, and the outpouring of support from this congregation and from the staff has been overwhelming. So what does Second Presbyterian Church mean to me? It is a congregation that has shared in every important part of my life since I first walked through these doors over 21 years ago. And that is why we choose to support the ministries of this church. In Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 7, Paul tells the church at Corinth, "Each of you must give as you have made up your mind, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." As you prayerfully consider your pledge this dedication Sunday, please ask yourself, what does Second Presbyterian Church mean to you? Thank you very much.